we're going to call to the order the regular Rochester City Council meeting of October 23rd, 2023. Madam Clerk, the roll, please.
Vixen.
Here.
Salvia.
Here.
Albrecht.
Here.
Gould.
Here.
Peterson.
Here.
Sage.
Here.
Trent.
Here.
Thank you. Would you please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody, and thank you for coming tonight. First, we have public comment, scheduled and non-scheduled presentation. And first, we have the honor of talking about some of our outstanding city employees. So first, we want to present this. There is some city award by the Chamber of Commerce they're called the Pinnacle Awards. And we have one here from Sunrise Pinnacle Awards presenting the PNC Bank Chief Financial Credit Union Community Collaboration Award to the Rochester Fire Department. So let's give a big hand. Chief, would you like to come up and say a couple words?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council. As you may remember, about 18 months or almost 2 years ago, myself, Chris Coe, came and spoke to you about something that was near and dear to our hearts, and it dealt with folks with dementia, Alzheimer's, and the aging community. And we found out this because of a class that Beaumont did for us, in which case we saw the need within our community to go ahead and help take care of those special need people, the way we treat them, the way we provide services. And so I gave the assignment to Captain Coe to kind of be the team leader for this. She put together a great team, of which I'm very proud of. Many of the other members of the department pitched in to help out. We are now at the point to where council had assigned a councilperson Peterson, to go ahead and help us out. We've built collaboration through the OPC, the DDA, the Regional Chamber of Commerce, and we've got quite the team running. We hope to go ahead and be the first city to be not only dementia, but Alzheimer's, and also then age-friendly community. And so we're really looking for Rochester to lead the way in that case. So we're very proud to be able to bring this award home to the city of Rochester. Our job has just been started. It's a long way to go to get completion. And I've got the team is in place to go ahead and make it happy for the council to be proud of what we've done. And most important, the citizens in Rochester will get a much better service than what we've been able to provide.
Thank you, Chief. And we have an award to give to you. And so we'd like to have all your fire guys come up, and the council will go around and get some pictures.
Come on.
Don't be bashful.
Same gals.
No, everybody back. Chris, get them all.
Chief, I'll give this back to you.
Come on, all the cool
Come on, you guys.
Chris, I need you up here to hold this.
Yep, last one standing.
Squeeze in here. Somebody take pictures.
All right, congratulations.
You want the council to stay there, man?
Yeah, we can back up and go back.
Okay, cool.
Yep, I guess.
Good job, you guys. Thank you.
This counts for steps or
Get your
something?
steps, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just put them there so they don't show up on the camera.
It's like some kid who wanders the hall. He tells me I'm getting my steps in.
A kid.
All right, and we have a lot of success for this meeting. We also have a Pinnacle Award for our DPW And Jason Dickinson, Oakland University, was the sponsor for our Community Hero Award. So Jason, congratulations. And with the award, we also have something from Mark Tisdale's office. We have something from Gary Peters, our United States Senator, and we have something from Mike Weber's office, I believe, or John James's office, yes. So you are a popular person, a famous person.
He's a hero.
So Alec, did you want to come up and say something, or Jason, is the department?
Both of you guys, come on.
Yeah, I want both you guys come up and say something, and then we'll get pictures with you guys. So, again, Jason, congratulations. Jason, let's have a speech. A short one, though.
You talking about my height now?
Oh, I didn't say that.
No, I just want to thank you. This is not something that I would have expected. I just come to work to do my job. I've been here for many years, give my mind and my work ethic to the city, and it feels good. I just don't have I appreciate council. We've been doing a lot of good things in the last few years, running with things, getting things done, you know, dealing with the tough times of contractors and other things going on, but I feel like we're on a stretch of success now. Things are getting done regardless.
Very good. How long have you been here?
27 years.
Oh, my gosh.
So,
Very good.
and one day.
Not that you're counting, right?
And hopefully 2 days.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
27 and 2.
And Jason's only 39, so do the math.
Yeah.
All right, well, congrats, Jay. Alec, did you have anything to say? Did you want to say something? You don't-
I'll just say that, Jason does a lot for the city, in all hours of the day. He is someone that answers his phone at 2:35 a.m. in the morning. He's someone that you can rely on and count on. And so I thought there was no better person to nominate for this Community Hero Award than our very own Jason Dickinson.
Great, very good. Thank you. Councilmember, Mayor Pro Tem Salvia?
Yeah, Alec, I just really wanted to thank you for taking the leadership and the time to make this nomination. We see the heroes every day, but taking the time to make the nomination so that Jason can be recognized is awesome. Thank you.
So, Jason, we have some awards to give to you, so we'll come around and get a picture, everybody. Jason, come on up.
Yeah, Colin, come on up.
I can make you look taller. It's my superpower. I make everyone feel tall.
Or you guys want me on the back here like this?
All right, Colin.
Yeah.
Point?
There we go.
Hey. Congrats, bud. Oops. I'm only here to witness this, so you can donuts.
What time?
What time we got?
I'll come to any meeting with donuts.
Tim Hortons.
Here you go.
Tim Hortons.
What? What?
Rochester cider mill. Rochester cider mill.
The hills and they're.
Okay, now we're on to other public comment. Is there any other public comment? Mr. Hauser, welcome.
Good evening, everyone. Christian Hauser, 5157 7th Street. I'd like to take a moment to discuss the upcoming election, and in particular, the two proposals that are on the ballot. I promise you I will make my comments brief and hopefully in under 300 seconds. In summary, in 2018, our residents, through our elected city council, unanimously voted to opt out and prohibit brick-and-mortar marijuana stores in the city of Rochester. Recently, however, an outside group has sought to change our retail marijuana ordinances through two ballot proposals. If these ballot proposals were to pass, they would, in sum, permit the sale of marijuana within the city of Rochester, and at the same time, allow for up to 3 marijuana dispensaries within the principal shopping district, meaning our downtown area, and along Main Street and University. In fact, as it stands, there are currently 5 locations that have been mentioned for proposed dispensaries. The current site of the Bangkok Cuisine Thai restaurant next to Dairy Queen, a business at 900 North Main Street, another one at 918 North Main Street, and then in addition, the Thai Cleaner is about a block from here, and then another business located over on the corner of University and Main. To be clear, these 2 ballot proposals were not initiated, drafted, or promoted by City Council or City Administration. Rather, these ballot proposals were authored and have been pushed exclusively by a group calling itself the Open Stores in Rochester Committee. First, there's nothing whatsoever open about this group. The members of this organization are a secret. They've yet to come before this council to discuss these proposals. Efforts to reach them are unsuccessful. They continue to spread misinformation in their literature that's been mailed to the residents. Second, and more importantly, they are not from Rochester. We know this because any group that advocates to operate a business bringing in an additional 1,500 to 1,800 cars per day on Main Street University doesn't know the first thing about Rochester. In fact, if they were from this city, they would have known traffic is a constant source of frustration in this town, and the proposed location for these dispensaries would only exacerbate the problem. This is not the way to have the local community embrace your business with open arms. Fortunately, the community, meaning the residents who actually live and work here, realized quickly the burden and inconvenience these marijuana dispensaries in our downtown area would have on our roads and traffic patterns. The residents understood that this would undoubtedly result in bumper-to-bumper traffic at all hours of the day. It would, of course, lead to hundreds of cars a day cutting through the neighborhoods to avoid backups on Main Street and University. And the community has pushed back hard. There's been meetings. Volunteers have gone door to door. Literature has been mailed to voters against these proposals. Yard signs opposed to these ballot initiatives cover the town, and people have offered to do anything they can to spread the word and educate residents on the detrimental effect these stores would have on our town. I can assure you the grassroots activism is alive and well in Rochester. While this has been incredibly helpful and the opposition by the residents is strong, the reality is this. If you're against these 2 initiatives, meaning if you're not in favor of 1,500 to 1,800 cars, additional cars in downtown every day, the thought of 3 marijuana stores within a quarter mile of one another is frustrating. If you don't like the idea of a marijuana dispensary next to Dairy Queen, if having a dispensary in the former Tide Cleaners and dozens of cars backed up on University trying to access the lot sounds terrible, the solution is to vote no on both proposals. This is my shameless plug for the election.
Go.
Absentee voting is currently taking place. Starting this Saturday, October 28th, the city will be offering early voting through Sunday, November 5th. Come here to City Hall and vote just like you would on Election Day. If you prefer to wait until Tuesday, November 7th, that's perfectly fine. And if you're unsure of your precinct or voting location, call the city, ask for Leanne, ask for Brian. They will be more than happy to tell you where to vote on Election Day. All the signs, all the meetings, the news articles, donations, door knocking will mean absolutely nothing if people don't follow through and vote no. So in closing, the question we have to ask ourselves is this. Are the local residents going to make the rules for our city, or are we going to let some outside group come in and write our ordinances and tell us how they're going to operate their business in our town? This group doesn't care about traffic. This group doesn't care about cars cutting through our neighborhoods. And they certainly don't care that the entire landscape and fabric of our principal shopping district in downtown will be changed forever if these proposals pass. Because if they did, they wouldn't be trying to sneak these proposals in on the ballot during an off-year election. The only people who should be making rules for how and where businesses in Rochester operate is us. And by us, I mean city administration, city council, planning commission, zoning board, and most importantly, our residents, not some outside group. So to everyone listening and watching, I urge you to please vote no on these 2 proposals. Thank you very much.
Is there anybody on council who would like to make a comment on this issue? Councilmember Trent?
Yes, thank you for coming. And
You need to go back up?
No, I don't have a question. I just want to say thank you for coming and explaining that, the issues really well. I hope that people are listening. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? I just, again, urge people to get out and vote. The residents of Rochester are going to decide this issue, not outside groups. So everybody, I urge them to get out and vote. Thank you. Brian, is there anybody else online?
I'm not seeing any hands raised at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Any further public comment? If not, on to the approval of the minutes. Consideration of the minutes of the regular meeting of October 9th, 2023.
Your Honor, if I could ask that those proposed, I wasn't able to get them for the packet this time, so they will be at the next meeting, along with this council meeting's minutes.
Oh, okay. So these minutes are not here?
No. Correct.
That's right, okay, thank you. Next is the approval of the consent agenda. There is none. Old business table items. There are no public hearings, legislative deliberations. On to reports and regular business. Is a consideration of a resolution adopting the proposed updates to the master fee schedule. Mr. City Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Marcy's going to come up and go over this. We took this item to the Budget Committee last week, and yearly, you charged us to look at our fees to make sure they're appropriate. We're always just trying to do cost recovery. We're not in this to make money or putting a burden on anybody that's using these services, but the staff goes over this together. We did this again with Budget and Financing and Finance Committee, and Marcy's going to give you a quick update.
Marcy, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council. Tonight, we bring forward to City Council the proposed updates to the master fee schedule. For background purposes, back in 2018, the city took on a systematic and a cumulative approach to create the master fee schedule, which attempts to capture all the user fees that are charged within the city. It's a work in progress. We're still fine tuning it. We still find some fees that haven't been on the schedule, but they're part of our regular permit process. So we're working very hard. And as Nick mentioned, part of the annual budget process, we review and update that list and present it to City Council with the request for approval and support. So the review process, as Nick again mentioned, it starts internally. It starts with the department heads. They review their fees. They propose those changes back to the finance department. The finance department analyzes and makes adjustments and then presents those to the budget and finance committee. So we began with the Budget and Finance Committee in September, and then last Friday on October 20th, the committee approved tonight's proposed fee schedule. So for reference, in the master fee schedule, there's over 400 fees included in total. Tonight's recommendation is to update 24 items. 10 of those items fall within that fine-tuning category that I mentioned. They are charges. We're not asking for any changes, but we're including them in the list because they had not been included previously. So that is 10 of the proposed changes. And then in the next section, for park reservations, we've done a market analysis on park reservation fees within the neighboring communities. And we find that for like structures, our Kiwanis Pavilion was underpriced. It's fully utilized. It's packed all summer long and into the fall. We compared our neighbors in Rochester Hills and Oakland Township. We looked at Orion Township as well. And even with the proposed changes that we're presenting, we're still going to be less expensive than our nearest neighbor. We have some maintenance and some remodeling that we want to begin in the Kiwanis Pavilion, and we use those fees to fund those changes that are proposed. So that is part of the proposal tonight. I guess I could walk you through. There's a quick list. So we had the building proposed changes in the building department, in the parks reservations. The Public Works Department had 8 proposed changes, all of which are pass-through. We buy our water meters from Badger Meters, and these are just pass-through costs that we are passing on in the master fee schedule. In the Finance Department, we're proposing a change in the SACRA voucher pricing. In the Police Department, we're proposing a change for violators of the parking meter a parking meter violation, we're proposing a change. And we'll do further discussion with the PAC Advisory Committee tomorrow night on that. But today, on this fee schedule, we're proposing changing the $10 violation to a $20 violation. And then if it's not paid within 14 days, we are proposing the change from $40 fee to $50 fee, keeping that $30 delta. And we have had quite a few permit requests for filming. And what we've found is that it costs the city through Department of Public Works or the police department, sometimes the fire department. It costs more than what we were bringing in for that fee. So the fee currently is $250, and we're proposing upping that to $750, and that should cover the city services that are involved in that. So if you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them on the proposed fees.
Councilmember Albrecht?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to reiterate the work that Marcy, Anthony, and Nick have done going back to September. Mayor Pro Tem Salvia, Councilmember Peterson, and myself are on the Budget and Expense Committee, and we ask all the questions that should be asked. One, what are other cities doing? Two, this is not a money-making endeavor, and as Marcy said on several occasions, a lot of these are pass-through accounts. So I really wanted to reiterate that we're not looking to, this is not a money grab. Even the film one, you heard going from $250 to $750. When I first heard that, I'm going, wow, that's a lot. And these are companies coming in that can afford that. This is not you and me going down and taking pictures on Main Street. And again, all that is doing is offsetting police, DPW, fire, who have to set up or block off streets or anything else for these filming things. So every time we have these, and there's some that come before us on the Budget and Expense Committee where we say, the timing's not right, this is not something we should be doing right now, but I fully support the 24 changes that you've presented here today, Marcy. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Peterson?
Thank you, Mayor. So I want to say thank you as well for the very thorough discussion that you all had to do this here. And I really want to, based from what we've discussed in the Facilities Committee regarding the Kiwanis Pavilion and taking care of those upgrades, it is good to see that we are finally increasing that charge because I think it's necessary for something that's utilized so much for so little. We do need to be able to maintain it, and with that use, I think that's really good. So I'm very happy with these increases the way they are.
Mayor Pro Tem Salvia?
Thank you. Thank you, Marcy. Can you elaborate on the SACRA change and, the rationale behind that? I think that's important for the public to have that additional information.
So currently, Rochester is part of the No-Haz community, and that is a community that is a consortium in Oakland County where different communities have an opportunity 3 or 4 times a year. They can go to different events and take their hazardous materials or other things and do a drop-off. We don't charge for that, for the cars. So you just show your driver's license and you show proof that you're a Rochester citizen. In the past, we haven't charged for that. But what it does, even though when you look at the No-Haz website, it says zero, it's free for Rochester. Well, that's free for the resident that goes and takes their hazardous material to drop off. But it costs the city $33,000 to provide that service. So basically, when you look into how many people have used that, you're looking at well over $100 per car. So what we're proposing to do is to not participate in the No-Haz consortium, and we're proposing to supplement the cost for the SACRA vouchers. SACRA it's actually the same organization that handles the No-Haz events and SACRA, but SACRA, you can make an appointment. You can go, there are a few days off, I think Christmas Day, New Year's Day. You can check their website, but you can go anytime by appointment. We charge for those vouchers right now $38, but because we're proposing to step away from the No-Haz community, we're proposing to supplement and offer a $10 charge for the voucher. Then Rochester resident can make the appointment, go anytime that it's available time at SACRA, and use that service. That would cost us significantly less. We would be at less than $2,000 if you look at how many people have used the SACRA in 2022 and to date in 2023. That would cost around $2,000. So you're saving significant amounts of money by doing this. You're supplementing it and making it more affordable for the user. You're providing greater efficiencies because they can go anytime. They're not set to go at the time when the events are scheduled. And it's very local. So that's the proposal. We'll do kind of an information campaign so that the city residents would be made aware of this. For those folks that we have their information, those ones that were using the no-has days, we have their contact information. We would provide mailers to let them know of the change, and we would put it in newsletter and on the social media for the city so that other residents can be made aware of the change that's proposed.
Thank you. That's exactly what I was looking for, and I would just add one other comment that we talked about, should it be free to the residents, but there is a value to having that $10 because they have skin in the game.
Right.
If we're paying 10, they're actually going to show up, they're going to use the service. It's a good partnership.
Great point. And when we look at our comparable communities, Rochester Hills, they charge the $10 exactly for that. So we're constantly doing the market survey, trying to find out where is the spot that we need to land. And we're proposing $10 for that.
Councilmember Albrecht.
Yes, I just wanted to touch on a couple of things. Mayor Pro Tem brought up the SACRA, which I know she's very passionate about, her recycling and everything else, and we talked about that. But what I think the residents need to hear is, instead of paying $33,000, we're going to offer basically the same service in a more convenient manner, costing the city, $2,000, I think you mentioned. Secondly, Councilmember Peterson talked about the Kiwanis shelter and the Lion shelter. There are costs for residents and for non-residents. The resident costs are less than for non-residents. Again, a lot of thought has gone into these fees. So with that, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution with the requested fee changes, including the attached master fee schedule, to be effective January 1st, 2024.
Support.
Motion by Councilmember Albrecht, support by Councilmember Peterson. Further discussion? Councilmember Trent.
Yes, I just wanted to clarify. So you make an appointment with SACRA and you come pick up your voucher here? Is that how you do
Yes.
it? You just walk in and get paid?
You can do it online,
Okay.
but we hand a voucher to you, so you would need to come in and pick up that
Okay,
voucher.
I see. Just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Councilmember Peterson.
Thank you, Mayor. No, I just really want to say thank you so much for really investigating that program and finding out that, we could save significantly and put it to better use. So thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, the roll, please.
Vixen,
Yes.
Salvia,
Yes.
Albrecht,
Yes.
Gould,
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Sage,
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Thank you, Marcy. Next, we have the quarterly financial report. Can I see you heading up this way?
So moved.
Nope, we need info.
Nice try.
Need some numbers.
Oh, yes, council, yes, thank
read
you.
it all.
So this is the first quarter for the city's fiscal year. So there's not a lot of trend or experience for changes at this point in time. We're early on. We had a lot of changes that we rolled over in the second meeting in July, which was concluding the prior fiscal year for 2023, rolling over all the various projects that were in various stages of completion and in progress and into the current year. With that, there's two main large changes being requested for enough that hit our threshold for budget amendments. One is the city tax revenue to the positive. So from when the budget's adopted and over those next couple months is when the city then receives final value. So now that this is the first quarter in the fiscal year, now is the time to have the amendment for the taxes from what the original projections were post border review. There's a couple months later that commercial properties have a different date for when they're due to where we're actually settled, like right now, this is what we're collecting. So that's the one amendment, change you see in there for the 90,946 to the positive. And then the second one was some reimbursements for grants that we received for police, for dispatch and training academy. That was 38,199. That one was not in the budget, but since we have since received both the grant and the funds, that is the second request before you tonight for those changes. As far as investments go, the percent on the city's return remains as high as it's been in a very long time, and in the near future, maintaining that level. The investment that we, City Council authorized and that we have, it was Sage Advisory is working just as it is supposed to be working. So I'm very happy to see how those returns are coming in, and they're managing that sort of 1 year and out funds for the city, and then where I'm doing them 1 year and under. So very happy on those results and the returns. So we're gonna keep maintaining those as we go along. And happy to answer any questions with that. There's nothing else from my view that was jumping out glaring. Everything else seemed to be right on track. So council questions with anything, happy to go through those.
Mayor Pro Tem Salvia?
Thank you. Just looking. Thank you, Anthony. So thank you for commenting on the average interest rate. I'd like to just publicly speak to the number. It's 5.5%. That's a very strong rate, very competitive with where the market is. So great work done there. Question on page 46 of the packet, we added a giant blue box explaining comment around the general fund. So just since we added that, that's something new to the report. I just would hope you could comment on that.
That is past my report. Which section's that in?
It is the general fund quarterly expenditures.
Oh, page 29.
I think that might be for the earmark, the note, and the top right
Says there can only
corner.
be one general fund, the city of
Yes.
Rochester.
Yeah, that was something recently, you'll see a couple other spots in the report too, some new verbiages and connections into what exactly some of this is. So if you're not necessarily familiar to what you're looking at, the idea is that, okay, well, I can look at this, I can read like, okay, why do we care, why does anybody care so much about general fund? Why is this important? And then it has some information tied to kind of what it is, what are the expenses in it, as kind of like a parallel education slash, not just a numbers report for just accounting people.
Great, okay, thank you. And then lastly, the general fund, it looks like we're positive 57,000.
We're tracking and trending that way for this year, and with the amendments, even with the rolled over projects for 14, we're basically right at break even right now. So we're within, $30,000 swing either way, which is
Perfect.
rounding on our budget. So we went from in the red to basically right at break even right now.
Excellent. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve the quarterly finance report with the 2 budget amendments as presented.
Support. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Salvia, support by Councilmember Sage. Discussion? Councilmember Peterson.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Anthony. It was a great report, very easy to understand as well. Regarding the long-term debt reporting that we have here in this chart, how are we, it says that we're on track. Are we going to be able to find any ways to move anything up a little sooner, or are we going to?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what we always are looking at is what is the best way and use for both cash flow and the dollars. We don't want to pay any more in interest that we don't have to, but we also have restrictions, like on all of our issues, there's a 10-year before you even can start to pay it off. So as those are approaching, for instance, parking fund next year-ish, a little bit over, we're gonna have those talks about, okay, what's the market looking like now? Should we be refinancing those? Should we be paying them off, right? We have some loans, we have some other things that are out there, the bond issues. they're substantial amounts, but even on the refinancing, there may make some financial sense to say, okay, well, maybe there's, we're gonna refinance it with just a partial principal pay down. And those are the things that we're looking at, each year as each issue comes up. A large majority of them are through Oakland County. So all the ones through the Water Resource Commission office, they do that constantly as well. So every time an issue comes up, they did one last year, they auto refinance it, they're just like, nope, we're gonna take advantage of it. There's a couple new programs, with, SAW and DW, not drinking water, the state revolving fund programs this year where they've added principal reduction. So as part of the refinancing and the debt issuance, there's now a new qualification that there's some small portion, but anything's better than nothing,
Right.
on principal reduction as part of the financing through the state. So they're taking advantage of that, we're also taking advantage of that, and then anytime debt comes up, because I hate debt. I am so anti-debt. But sometimes you have to do it right. We can't not replace things just because there isn't cash there, so.
Isn't there good debt and bad debt?
No.
No.
Only bad.
Yeah.
No, thank you for that.
If you sell
That's-
mortgages, there's good debt, I guess.
Right, yeah. No, thank you. This is really good, and I love having all the long-term debt in one spot to see it and see its progression. So thank you.
Further discussion? Madam Clerk, the roll, please.
Vixen,
Yes.
Salvia,
Yes.
Albrecht,
Yes.
Gould,
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Sage.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Thank you, Anthony. Next is consideration request to approve a resolution to enter into the 2023-2024 winter maintenance agreement with the Road Commission of Oakland County.
Snow is coming.
Alec, welcome. Does that mean winter's coming?
Winter's coming. I had to break out my ice scraper out of my trunk this morning.
Yeah, it was
So
frosty.
Wow.
I think that's the
I
first
do
sign.
too.
So this is an agreement that we go into with the Road Commission of Oakland County every single year. It's for City Public Works to do winter maintenance, that's plowing and salting of the three kind of adjacent county roads around the city. That's Washington, DeQuinder, and Parkdale. So they usually just do a % increase every year. It has been 2% in the past. Last year they did a 3% increase, and they're doing another 3% increase. So that would be $20,742.91 coming to the city, paid in 2 installments. And yeah, that's really not much more to it.
Council?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Councilmember Peterson,
I'll support.
support by Councilmember Trent. Discussion? Madam Clerk, the roll, please.
Vixen,
Yes.
Salvia,
Yes.
Albrecht,
Yes.
Gould,
Yes.
Peterson.
Yes.
Sage.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Thank you, Alec. And next is a consideration request from the Fire Department to purchase a new Ford Expedition as a replacement for the existing 2012 Ford Expedition.
Mr. Mayor, Council, we've, in the past, about 10 years ago, adopted a policy of hand-me-downs, and that's to go ahead and maintain our fleet, but yet also go ahead and maintain city budget. So the vehicle that we're asking to replace tonight started out in 2012 as a car that the fire chief used. It was used up until 2017, and when it was replaced, and then that car was handed down to the inspectors and also to be used as a chase vehicle for EMS calls, as opposed to running additional ambulances or engines to try to maintain those vehicles, which are $250,000 per vehicle. So we're requesting council for consideration. I would have brought this to you 2 years ago, but we felt that the vehicle could go ahead and hold on. The 2012 now is starting to show body wear in regards to rust on the quarter panels. And we have had some maintenance issues that continue to show up. So the proposal that you have in front of you is a request to go ahead and replace the current car that the fire chief is using, which will then be handed down. And then we would sell the car that, the 2012, we, I guess we'll probably get someplace between $3,000 to $6,000 in value for the vehicle.
How long was it going to take to get here?
I'm sorry?
How long would it take to get here if we order it?
Good question. there's a chance that they may have one that's on the lot, but we want to make sure that it falls within, obviously, we're using the county budget, the governmental bid process, and so we'll have to locate one that meets the spec, in regards to what the approved options and those sort of things are, so, to make sure. So I don't honestly know, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
We've looked at some pricing, but we have not gotten any commitments on delivery dates.
Councilmember Trent?
Yeah, obviously you need a new vehicle. I just have a few questions here. So it says mileage or hours? So it says 66,000, is it?
So it's 66,000 miles.
Okay, so,
And that's a lot of miles if you think about the short trips that we take in Rochester.
so is Ford Expedition, is it always the best car to get? I mean, it seems like, I don't know.
Yeah,
You should get more miles out of it, but I'm not a fire
Well, I mean, when you take a look at.
professional.
Yeah, part of the body is starting to rust.
Yeah,
From
yeah.
that standpoint.
Right.
And when the car is used down at the fire station, unfortunately, it's typically 0 to 60. And what I mean by that, it's being used aggressively to go ahead and get the calls. And we are actually looking at a potential replacement with a vehicle down one size. But I would prefer to go ahead and ask for more and then be able to please council and come in with a lesser amount of money. But we're in the evaluation process right now.
I see. And then just one more question. So, because you're saying the total maintenance was 15,000 and you bought the vehicle new, is that correct? Is that how
Yes.
you're buying all the vehicle? And then, but now you're saying it looks like it's the increased annual maintenance would be 9,300 or that's?
Those are estimates based on
So it's
the
increased.
life expectancy of the vehicle, the way it's used, and what maintenance items we see that we've had issues with.
And that's why you're
Yes.
making the decision that you don't
Yeah.
want to start spending almost 10,000 more a year just to.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Councilmember Albrecht?
Thank you, Chief. Follow-up to the mayor's question. So you find a car on the lot. What's when we buy the ambulances, they have to go and get retrofitted. What do you have to retrofit on this car
So we'll
besides the decals and
Yeah,
everything else?
So it's the decals and the emergency lighting that will end up going on to it also.
And that cost is built into your 72,000?
Correct. We try to make sure that it's an all-in number.
Go.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Mayor Pro Tem Salvia.
So I didn't see, unless I missed it in here, a general ledger or a budget line item. Is this in the current
So
budget?
so that's contained in the revolving equipment fund.
Okay, so the funding for this would come out of the revolving equipment fund?
Yes, and what we've done with finances, we've tried to go ahead and put an estimated life expectancy of the vehicle, and then try to put aside every year what we think we need to go ahead at the time of the purchase of the new vehicle, that we have saved enough money in the budget. And I don't want to speak incorrectly, but I believe that we're still running behind on our revolving equipment account, Mr. Finance Director. So, although we're doing our best to get caught up, not only does the city manager, but the finance director, requests us to put off these major purchases as much as we can, because we're trying to get that revolving equipment account properly funded so that it is a more easy way to go ahead and budget our purchases. So that's why we waited several years to go ahead and come forward with this request.
Councilmember Peterson?
Would it hurt the fire department if you had to go down to a smaller vehicle? I mean, because I thought.
No, we think we could probably go down to something in the, and I guess, I'm sorry, I don't remember all of the GM ones, but like to an Explorer or something along that size.
Oh, okay. Because I know, don't you still have to carry items and things like that when you go somewhere?
I'm sorry?
You do have to carry items and
So
things
there's
like that
certain
and people?
pieces of equipment that we carry in that car, but it's not necessarily enough that it has to be an Expedition or a Suburban. And again, it's a standpoint that from within the fire department, we're constantly looking at our equipment, evaluating what's the right size, what equipment do we need to have, what equipment do we need to carry. And that's why I'm saying it's looking like we think we can more than likely downsize, but I've ask for the expedition and as we go through the evaluation process.
Oh, and I'm fine with that either way. I just wanted to make sure that you weren't thinking you had to go down smaller just because of cost.
No,
If it- to
thank
make
you
su-
for that,
yes.
but we look at functionality
Okay,
for the equipment, yes.
perfect.
Councilmember Sage.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, Chief, for the report here. And based on what I know of automobile maintenance and your concerns, I would make a motion to approve replacement of the 2012 Ford Expedition not to exceed the 72,000 cab.
So moved.
Support.
Okay, go ahead.
Motion by Councilmember Sage, support by Councilmember Peterson. Further discussion? Madam Clerk, the roll, please.
Vixen,
Yes?
Salvia,
Yes.
Albrecht,
Yes.
Gould,
Yes.
Peterson,
Yes.
Sage.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Thank you, Council.
Next is a receipt of the check register. If there's any questions? If not, receive a report from the various boards and commission. First is a report from the City Beautiful Commission. Councilmember Gould.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We met on October 11th and welcomed a new member from the community. Jessica Klauser joined the group. We did receive a report from the Rochester pollinators. Some updates from the pollinators include that they offered a presentation at the Rochester Chamber. Still continuing work in the southern wet meadow in the park there. Cleaned up the cemetery by pulling weeds. They're helping with some plantings along the walking path near Ascension. We also received a DPW update, a couple of highlights. You've seen the beautiful area out here. There are 2 new benches and a picnic table sitting there by City Hall, which is a really nice compliment to the new landscaping out there. Finished replacing all the light poles
No, down to the last batch.
in the city, right down to the last batch of the light poles in the city, which is impressive. There's Jason, who we honored earlier, continuing to do great work, installed a new crushed limestone pathway in Dinosaur Hill. I haven't seen it yet, but terribly impressive from my understanding. There were a couple of updates on some things coming next year. Main talk was surrounding the placement of some murals associated with the Kiwanis building. We were talking about the pros and cons and do's and don'ts of those projects. So that's it for this evening.
Very good, thank you. Next is a report from the Budget and Finance Committee. Councilmember Albrecht.
Oh, no,
Trent will do it.
yeah, sorry.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Yes, well, Marcy did a very good job of reviewing the master fee schedule. It was a very exciting, jam-packed meeting, was very productive as they went over all the cost-saving measures that they can take. And I'll just give you some highlights. One of them was the gate arm replacement and the parking structures. Unfortunately, they have run up against some costs of technology and things not working, and the gate arms started not working well because of, believe it or not, real money. So we're going to only take plastic, and then the cost of, at first it was going to be $400,000, but they got that down to below $200,000 by going local, which, there's a lot of local talent around here. So, local is good, and right around Rochester. And they did their due diligence. Anthony Maggio met with them to make sure that, you want to be sure that it's good, and the technology and the equipment will be as good, with a 2-year warranty as well. So then, talked about healthcare options. They're looking into healthcare. We all know that it seems to be going up, and the insurance is a good insurance, which is Blue Cross Blue Shield, but they figured out a way to reward or employees and help them when employees are healthy, or help any one of them that's healthy by figuring out a way to, and it's an option to save savings as well if they choose so. There is also the grant. Today is October 23rd.
They pushed out the date.
Okay, the grant for the community house.
December.
You read my mind. So the community house now, they had applied for a grant, and we review grants at the budget committee, and I just heard from Mayor Pro Tem, that it is going to be now in December when they'll let us know if the community house gets the grant. Unfortunately, nothing for the skate park, but personally, I hope they don't give up. Maybe one day I'll pick up a skateboard, who knows? So then, social workers, we were here, Chief Rohib joined us and talked about the grant that they got from CORE to have social workers on call, or not real clear how it works, but they are not full-time, but they are called in for mental health issues, if they think that that's what the call is about, or highly emotionally charged issues, and that's been very helpful for them. And so the grant extension is really good to have. People don't realize, and maybe some do, maybe some don't, that mental health and highly charged emotional situations can be mitigated with experts, and that's a good thing. So, told you it was an exciting meeting. So Rochester University Education, for Rochester University, there's a certification program that's going to be a brand-new innovative program that Anthony Maggio talked about, and I do have an education background, and I think it's excellent, and my company also works with interns, and I love the concept of having long-term internships and working with a university on a real program that will help both the city and the university students, and that's going to be hopefully a 4-year one, and maybe we'll just be a benchmark on that. So that's it.
Very good, thank you. Next is a report from the Planning Commission. Councilmember Sage.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We held 4 public hearings. The first was to consider a parking in lieu exemption or payment for 4 spaces for Cafe 316 at 422 South Main. We approved that. They will be opening, when did they say, Nick? Next spring or?
No,
now?
Before Christmas.
Next 4 weeks?
Yep.
And be offering Mideast and French pastries along with coffee and tea. The second public hearing, we approved the special project for construction of a maintenance garage at Great Oaks. The third public hearing, we approved opening the mandatory 30-day public review period for the draft of the 2024 through 2029 Parks and Recreation Master Plan. So the way that process will run, that opens, or it did open on the 20th of October, runs through the 20th of November, so the public can make comment either through city administration. Where else can they go? Can they submit to the state or okay. We will hold a public hearing at the December 4th City Council meeting to consider that. On the 11th, we will then consider adoption or first reading and adoption of the plan. We need to submit it to the DNR by February 1st of 2024. Okay. And the final public hearing we held was to approve a special project for a re-walled project at 333 3rd Street, a market and restaurant bar on the first floor and office space on the second floor. So that'll be coming before council here. Nick, what's the projected timing?
So the first meeting in November, we'll come here, we'll have him do the initial presentation to the board, and then if everything goes right that night, we'll schedule a public hearing for the first meeting in December, because we need 30 days to do that. So it would be initial, first meeting in November, final special project and site plan, ask first meeting in December.
That's it.
Very good, thank you. Next is a report from the Pink Creek Trailway Commission. Councilmember Sage.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the Oakland County Road Commission will be replacing a bridge at Dutton Road. The impact to the trail will be a 3-day trail closure. So it will occur either this week in the middle of the week or next week in the middle of the week. They are still working that out with the Road Commission.
Phone calls.
We considered the draft of the 2024 budget. As anticipated, the municipality municipality contributions will increase 3%. The impact to Rochester will be $561. The Bridge 31-7 replacement update, we already know about the TAP grant that we were awarded for $700,000. We did hear about the DNR Spark grant. We were not considered, were not recommended for consideration there. We're still waiting to hear from the Natural Resources Trust Fund, also through the DNR, for another $300,000, and we should have an update by end of December on that one. And then finally, next year we'll celebrate the 40th anniversary of the trail. So we are trying to decide whether we have that celebration on Rails to Trails Day, which is April 27th, or National Trail Days on June 1st. So we'll keep you posted.
Very good. Thank you. Next is a report from the Downtown Development Authority. Councilmember Trent.
Oh, yes, there's a lot going on with the DDA. First of all, the Italian Happening Car Show donated $3,800 to the DDA and then $3,800 to the PCC, Paint Creek Center for the Arts. So that was really nice. Lisa Swiftney, who is the Rochester Regional Chamber of Commerce liaison, announced that the Grand Marshal for the Christmas Parade, Hometown Christmas Parade, is Tim Crawford. Some of us know him as Mr. Christmas, Mr. Hometown Christmas Parade. Actually, he loves it. And our Christmas Parade will be on December 3rd this year. The city staff and city manager met with Oakland County Smart Mobility Team and went over the bus route and a preliminary bus route, and they gave their input. Was told it was successful and a productive meeting. And it is merry and bright and sparkle and light. It's Christmas time in Rochester. The lights are going up in downtown. You may have seen that, and you will have noticed the cherry pickers and all on the streets. But they will be turned on the 50th annual Lagniappe event, November 20th, and they'll be up through mid-January. On November 13th, the Holiday Expo will be at the Royal Park, and it's a partnership between the DDA and the Rochester Regional Chamber of Commerce. So a lot of local business people will be there, and it's always a fun event and a good time to buy from local vendors. The fundraiser for the Big Bright Light Show is a cocktail party and food is November 17th at the Community House. Called Festival of the Trees. They have trees, wreaths, and more, and they can be purchased also over that weekend, July 18 and 19, but of course, the good ones are gone if you don't go to that fundraiser. A few of the upcoming events, and I won't go through them all because I know that Mayor Bixon is going to go, hurry this up. A few of the upcoming events are Caroling in the City, Kris Kringle, Cookie Stroll, Snowman Stroll, and more. The full list of events is on the Downtown Rochester events and can be found at downtownrochestermi.org. So, at the end of that, the good news was from our city manager, Nick Banda, that the city is booming with a 97% occupancy rate. New stores, bars, and restaurants are opening. A few are Bitter Tom's. St. 1881 now has pastries and coffee, and I was there. It was really good. The almond croissants. Anyway, cafe, I think it's 314 or maybe
316.
Oh, sorry, 316. I don't know. Sorry. 316 is moving into where the macaroon store is, so that's it.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions on that? Next is a report from the RARA, Councilmember Albrecht.
Thank you, Mayor. I was out of the country for that meeting, but I asked Dave Ward, who is the executive director, to send me some talking points, so I will highlight some of those. The Rah-Rah Boo Bash, which is a event for kids, was held for the first time since COVID, and they had over 250 participants. They had a haunted playscape, magician, pumpkin decorating, and face painting. We also helped support cross-country, and we had 570 participants in the Rochester Middle School Cross-Country Championships this year, and Van Heusen Middle School took home trophies again, as they did last year. The meeting was before October 20th, but October 20th, while there was an event at the Van Heusen Museum for adults, RAH decided to not partner, but just sort of replicate that to have the same kind of event for children, so that while parents were at the museum, children could come to the RAH facility for, a full night of dancing and music and everything else, bounce houses, all that fun kind of stuff. I don't have the numbers because that was after the meeting. We opened finally our new registration portal, so people will be able to register. This is something we've been working on for a while with the new software. So that's up and running, and it gives the staff more ability to text participants when there are some changes going on. And then lastly, working with the city of Rochester Hills, we've realigned all of our general ledger accounts to match the new numbering system. I'm sure Anthony and Marcy would know what that means, but it was a very 3-month project to get it done, but it's done, and working with Joe from Rochester Hills, we're now aligned, so it gives us better transparency on the board to see where the money's going and how programs are performing. That was it, Mayor.
Thank you. On to public comment. Any further public comment in the audience? Brian, anything online?
Thank you. I'm not seeing any hands at this time.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Thank you for being here tonight. On to general miscellaneous, Mr. City Manager.
Two quick things. We're wrapping up our last underground water and sewer replacement program on North Wilcox. This is a boring job, so they're digging at University mid-block and then at 7th on North Wilcox, and they'll finish that in the next couple of weeks. Then we'll repave the road, and then we're done. So we can wrap up the season.
Boring as opposed to exciting?
Sorry, B-O-R, not same, I guess it's spelled the same, not good, that's good. So that will be wrapped up, and then, Jason, we think we might be able to get the stripe and the red coating down in the alleys, both sides of Main Street, if this weather holds. So the contractor found the sandy grit that they need to do that, so we're working on that, and that would literally wrap up everything for the season, so. It was a heck of a 3-week period. The bridge should open pretty quick here with the deck being done. Thank you, MDOT, for doing that. So that's it, sir.
Thank you. Madam Clerk.
A few things. So this Saturday, early voting starts here in council chambers for 9 straight days. Hours are going to be 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., except that Thursday will be 12 to 8. All of the dates and times are on our website under the elections page. Of course, there'll also be in-person voting on Election Day, Tuesday, November 7th, at your regular polling locations, so those will be open. And also, we will still have absentee ballots that we will be issuing up through the day before election. So I think someone said there's no reason why everyone shouldn't be able to vote. So give us a call, and we'll help you through that process. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney?
Nothing, thank you.
Councilmember Gould?
Nothing tonight, thanks.
Mayor Pro Tem Salvia?
Nothing to add.
Councilmember Sage?
Nothing tonight, sir.
Councilmember Albrecht?
I just wanted to give Leanne and Brian a shout out. We all received an email last week about that. This was the first year that Oakland County was trying to do the early voting, and Leanne came to us many months ago and said, we're going to opt out and do it on our own. And I guess your foresight in this first year of trying to do this for the county, you opted out. You and Brian are going to do, as you just said, the voting in here. You've always run very good elections, very thorough, highest level of integrity. And the fact that you made the decision to opt out shows that Rochester is a leader in this area. Thank you. That's it, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Trent?
Yeah, I think I said enough. Thank you.
Councilmember Peterson?
Just a couple things. One is the door at Dinosaur Hill doesn't lock appropriately. I don't know if we can have that looked into. And then it was brought up earlier about the walking paths, but when will the rest of them be completed?
If I can, so we applied for a $76,000 grant just to do what we just did.
Right.
And we got denied. So Mr. Dickinson found a way with Bowen Paving to get the materials and have them do it, that inside loop, for less than $17,000. There is no plan to go the rest of the way. It would be hundreds of thousands. So during goals and objectives, we can talk about that, but all along, we were trying to get that inner loop done. So that's to start. And we're going to actually take Some volunteers from downhill, we're going to start putting logs on the edge to keep everything in like it used to be. So, so no plans at this point or dollars allocated for the rest of the place.
Okay.
But I know
that's fine.
it looks, makes everything else look so different when that is spectacular, so.
Right, it looks really nice out there.
Does.
I mean, the whole place looks amazing. And then on the corner of Roselawn and Alice, there's that stretch between Helen and Alice. That stretch of road does not have any curbs. And I was wondering if there was a reason. We don't need an answer right now, but I just wanted to check. I had told the residents that I would check on that, just because they keep saying their yard's getting ruined, so, okay.
Anything else?
No, sir, thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, I just wanted to inform the council that I received a phone call from the interim superintendent of the Rochester School District, Mr. Silveri, who actually used to be the superintendent in Waterford, who I knew a little, and he just wanted to let me know that they're having a meeting tonight to talk about the administration building, and he assured me that there was no decision going to be made tonight on anything. They were just going to have a, what's the process going to be. He did ask for kind of a rundown of the city's involvement, and I kind of explained to him our resolution that we passed, and that how we are very concerned about the protecting the historical aspects of that. And I mean, it seemed like a very good conversation. He said he was going to keep the city up to date, and it was, to me, a very good phone call, and hopefully something positive can come out of that, their meetings and their interaction with us. And that's all I have for tonight. So we are going to, looking for a motion to go into closed session for personnel issues with the expectation of coming out for a public meeting.
So moved.
Motion by Councilmember Peterson, support by Councilmember Sage. Madam Clerk, the roll, please.
Vixen?
Yes.
Salvia?
Yes.
Albrecht?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Sage?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes.
Thank you. We'll take a 5-minute break.
Yeah, so I had a lot of.
Boy was there, she started bringing me in Japanese. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to make it.
5 seconds.
While you're out doing your dots, have a truffle.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so we're going to go back into public session. Madam Clerk, are we just in public session?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, do we have a motion? Mr.
I'll make a
I make a motion
thank you.
to increase the city manager's salary by 3%,
Is it retroactively
retroactively.
to Mr. City Attorney to win?
Where my date was you said?
Yeah, it's the effective date of his contract.
So back to the date of his
I think it's
contract.
August.
August
Yeah.
or something, yeah.
Support.
Okay, motion by Mayor Pro Tem Salvia, support by Councilmember Albrecht. Madam Clerk, the roll, please.
Vixen?
Yes.
Salvia?
Yes.
Albrecht?
Yes.
Gould?
Yes.
Sorry, maybe that.
Was that real, or was that?
Peterson?
I guess, yeah.
Sage?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. Okay, so this meeting is now adjourned. Okay, now we're going to open a
Special meeting.
special meeting to do SWOT analysis.